Some stress in a baby's life doesn't look dramatic. It looks loving, even responsible, which is why parents miss it. A baby can be fed, changed, kissed, and still feel overwhelmed. That surprises people because love and stress can coexist. Not because you're doing something terrible, but because babies experience the world through their nervous systems before they understand intentions. They don't hear, "I mean well." They feel speed, tone, absence, pressure, unpredictability, and whether calm returns after something scary. That's why two homes can look caring from outside. Inside, one feels safer to a baby, and the brain notices. In this video, we're unpacking 7 common habits that quietly register as stress and what babies may be learning inside. Before the first habit, remember this. Stress alone isn't damage. Unrelieved stress without support is what lingers in babies longer. Babies borrow regulation from us before they build their own. That borrowed calm becomes the blueprint for future self-soothing later. So if a baby melts down faster with one person, that doesn't prove manipulation. It proves that safety allows release. Now here's the first habit. Moving through care so quickly that the baby's body never gets a warning before change. A sudden wipe, fast diaper flip, abrupt lift from sleep, instant buckle into a car seat can feel like alarms. Adults know what comes next. Babies don't. Their brains crave predictability, so transitions with no warning can spike stress chemistry. This doesn't mean every diaper change needs a ceremony. It means your voice, pace, and pause can soften surprise greatly. Even saying, "I'm going to pick you up now," gives the nervous system a bridge. That bridge feels like respect. And respect matters earlier than people think. Babies may not understand words yet, but they register rhythm, anticipation, and gentleness. The second habit feels harmless because it comes from excitement. Constant stimulation can look loving while a baby feels flooded. Bright toys, non-stop chatter, quick face changes, music, visitors, screens nearby, bouncing, tickling, snapping photos. It's a lot to process. An infant's brain is built to learn from novelty, but much novelty too fast can feel like drowning in information. Sometimes the fussy baby after a busy afternoon isn't difficult. They're carrying sensory leftovers and their body hasn't sorted them. This is where parents get confused. A baby may turn away, arch back, or cry harder because they need less. Less noise, less face-to-face intensity, less input. Looking away is not rejection. It's often a baby's way of protecting regulation. The third habit is bigger than people realize. Missing a baby's tiny bids for connection can feel like emotional static. Babies serve before they speak. A sound, widened eyes, a kick, a pause, a glance. That's the invitation to connect. When you answer with your face, voice, touch, or imitation, that is serve and return. Brain circuits strengthen through those loops daily. But when those moments are repeatedly missed, delayed, or brushed aside, babies don't become spoiled. They become uncertain connection works. That uncertainty matters because infants build expectations fast. Do my signals matter here, or do they disappear into the room? And no, this isn't about reacting perfectly every second. It's about enough back and forth that the baby feels psychologically reachable today. One warm look during feeding. One answer to that cruel, one mirrored smile. Those moments tell a baby you exist. The fourth habit is caring for a baby while your body is visibly dysregulated. Babies listen to our nervous systems. They notice the jaw clenched during rocking, the rushed breathing during feeding, the sharp exhale before pickup, the shaky hands. You may be saying soothing words, but if your body broadcasts alarm, your baby absorbs the message underneath them first. This is co-regulation in real life. Your calm doesn't erase every cry, but it helps the baby come back faster. And if you're overwhelmed, this is not blame. It's an invitation to notice that your state is part of caregiving. A slower breath before lifting your baby, softer shoulders during feeding, a pause before responding. Tiny resets can change everything. The fifth habit is using separation like it's emotionally neutral. For adults, 5 minutes can be brief. For babies, unmeasured. Walking away suddenly, handing the baby over without a transition, or disappearing during distress can feel bigger than we imagine. Infants don't understand your errand, your shower, or your work call. They understand presence, rupture, and whether return feels reliable. This doesn't mean never put your baby down. It means make departures legible, signal, transfer gently, and come back predictably. A quick phrase, steady touch, or familiar routine can reduce the shock. Predictability lowers stress because the pattern becomes known. Secure attachment isn't built by never leaving. It's built when separation and reunion happen in ways the baby can trust. The sixth habit may surprise you most. Pressuring independence before the brain is ready can feel like abandonment inside sometimes. That can show up around sleep, soothing, feeding, or play. We rush self-settling when the nervous system still needs company. Babies are not born knowing how to downshift alone. They learn it through repeated experiences of being helped back gently. So when a baby cries harder after being put down awake, the message isn't, "I'm winning." It's, "I'm overwhelmed here." Cortisol is part of this story. It's a stress hormone that helps the body mobilize, but not all alone well. When stress rises and loving help arrives, the baby learns recovery. When stress rises without support, alarm can last longer. That doesn't mean every pause is harmful. It means repeated expectations of handle it yourself can land before capacity exists. And capacity is developmental, not moral. A baby needing closeness isn't weak, manipulative, spoiled, or behind. They're simply young still. The seventh habit happens when tension fills the room, even if nobody directs it at the baby. Conflict still lands. Harsh voices across the kitchen, silent resentment during bedtime, criticism between adults. Babies may not know content, but feel danger. Their stress response tracks volume, facial hardness, sudden movement, and unpredictability. The nervous system asks, "Is my world safe today?" This is one reason emotional safety isn't sentimental. It's biological. Safety shapes attention, digestion, sleep, and eventually self-control later too. Now here's the part parents need most. Perfection is not the goal, because babies do not need robotic responsiveness ever. They need repair. They need enough moments where distress meets comfort, confusion meets clarity, and separation meets reunion again safely. In fact, small mismatches followed by repair teach something powerful. Relationships can wobble, then reconnect. That lesson becomes resilience later. So if you've recognized yourself already, breathe. Awareness changes behavior faster than guilt, and babies benefit from shifts immediately too. Let's make this practical. What does lower stress parenting actually sound like in the ordinary moments that shape a baby's day? It sounds like narrating transitions before touch. It sounds like slowing down enough that your baby can register what's coming. It sounds like noticing overstimulation before meltdown, turning off the extra music, dimming the room, letting your face become quieter. It sounds like answering a coup with a coup, meeting eyes for 2 seconds, returning the serve before moving on. It sounds like checking your own body before soothing. Loosen your jaw, drop your shoulders, exhale longer than you inhale. It sounds like making departures visible instead of sudden. One phrase, one touch, one familiar rhythm that predicts your return. It sounds like remembering that independence grows from dependence done well. Support first, then repetition, then capacity, then a space. And when the room gets tense, it sounds like repair out loud. That was loud. You're safe. I'm here now. None of these shifts require perfection, expensive tools, or endless time. They require awareness, repetition at a gentler pace daily. And here's something beautiful. When babies feel safer, they don't just cry less. They explore, connect more, and rest deeper. Safety is not the absence of every hard feeling. It's the repeated experience that hard feelings can be survived together. That togetherness changes the meaning of stress. A startle becomes recoverable. A separation becomes temporary. A cry becomes communication instead. And babies are learning meaning all day long, not through lectures, but through patterns. Who comes? Who notices? Who helps? That is why ordinary habits matter so much. They are repeated enough to become emotional architecture before memory becomes verbal. You may not remember your first year of life, but your body remembers how stress felt and whether comfort followed. Babies are building that body memory now. With every pickup, pause, reunion, soothing voice, and repaired moment of rupture today. So let's revisit the 7 habits clearly. Moving too fast, overstimulating, missing bids, caring while dysregulated, unsignaled separation, forced independence. And the 7th, room tension that leaks into everything. None of these mean you're failing. They mean your baby notices. That noticing is not a burden to fear. It's actually hopeful, because small changes are also deeply noticeable to babies. A calmer pickup gets noticed. A slower diaper change gets noticed. Your face softening after frustration gets noticed too immediately. Even oxytocin, the bonding chemistry people mention so often, is really just a scientific way of describing felt safety together. When your baby is held, answered, and soothed, connection isn't only emotional. It's biochemical, neurological, and surprisingly practical for survival. That's why a responsive moment can change the whole evening. One regulated interaction often prevents the cascade that follows overload. And if today was messy, repair still counts tonight. Babies do not need a perfect day to feel deeply loved. You can re-enter after frustration. You can slow down after rushing. You can reconnect after missing cues. That matters immensely. Because what builds security is not never rupturing. It's becoming the person who returns, repairs, and helps the body settle. That lesson follows children forward, into toddler tantrums, playground bravery, friendships, school stress, and the voice they use internally later. A baby who feels safe enough to need you eventually feels safe enough to explore without you. That's development working. So the goal isn't creating a baby who never depends on you. The goal is becoming a dependable place first. And that place is built in moments so small they barely seem like parenting. A pause, a warning, a return. If this feels emotionally heavy, that's because it is important, but important is not the same thing as impossible today. Babies are not asking for flawless parents. They're asking, through behavior, for adults who notice stress and help metabolize it. And that word, metabolize, matters. Emotions move through babies with support. Without support, they can stay louder longer inside them. So the next time your baby cries during something ordinary, pause before assuming bad mood, stubbornness, or random fussiness first. Ask a different question. Did that feel sudden, loud, lonely, confusing, rushed, or too much for this nervous system today? That question changes parenting. It moves you from control to curiosity, and curiosity is where attuned care begins best often. Because beneath so much baby behavior, the hidden meaning is simple. Help me feel safe enough to stay open here. Safe enough to digest this moment, safe enough to sleep, safe enough to learn, safe enough to trust people again. And when babies trust, their whole world expands, curiosity grows, connection deepens, the brain spends less energy on protection mode. That's the quiet power of these everyday habits. They don't just shape behavior in the moment, they shape interpretation too. Does the world happen to me or with me? Do my signals matter? Is comfort available when I unravel most? Those are big questions inside a tiny person, and the answers form long before that child can ever explain them. So yes, babies can experience common parenting habits as stress, but the deeper truth is even more reassuring than that. They are also constantly experiencing your repairs, your warmth, your learning, and your return. Those count powerfully too for them. Parenting is not a pass-fail test of calm. It's a relationship where two nervous systems learn each other over time. And every time you notice a habit and soften it, you're not spoiling your baby. You're teaching safety instead gently. Safety becomes trust. Trust becomes exploration. Exploration becomes learning. And learning, rooted in connection, becomes a stronger future self later. So tonight, maybe change one thing. Slow one transition. Lower one stimulation source. Repair one tense moment. Start there gently. Your baby does not need a transformed household by morning. They just need more moments that feel understandable and held. Because in the end, babies are not measuring your performance. They're feeling for your presence, your pattern, and your repair. And when presence becomes consistent enough, stress stops writing the loudest story. Safety does, attachment does, love becomes believable again. That may be the most powerful thing a parent can give. Not perfection, but a nervous system that welcomes return. So if you needed a sign today, let this be it. Your baby isn't asking for more pressure from you. They're asking for the kind of love that slows down, notices deeply, and says with every action, "You're safe here.